Hello and welcome to the latest Torbay Elite Fantasy Football podcast with myself, Mr. Bull. I'm a good friend Steve-O, for the more observant of you out there. And Jay. Jay, how are you, mate? You all right?
Hey, guys. Steve-O and Dan are in the same room.
Yeah, we are indeed. Yeah, I'm back in sunny Devon. It's actually really nice weather, so it's nice to be back in the company of Dan here.
Getting the most of the Indian summer.
Yes.
So, just as ever, we're going to talk about the top four in our league, all the ups and downs. Obviously, look at Jason and Steve-O's teams as well. And just see how the league's shaping up, really. So, Steve-O, do you want to start talking about...
Yes, about the top four, of course, yeah. So, Jason has got I suggest not quite such a comfortable lead after this game week. It's down to 16 points. Ben Towler has caught him up thanks to that, as you may have seen the other day on Instagram, at Torbay Elite, if you want to see any live video reactions, where me and Dan were watching the Bournemouth Crystal Palace game, and that cheeky assist by Zaha allowed Ben Towler to close the gap to only 16 points to Jason. Jason, you're still top of the league. You're doing exceedingly well. You're in the top 900 overall rank. Are you, though, concerned by not only Ben, but also myself? Because the three of us, there's only 23 points covering, and then the gap between me and fourth is 32 points. So, yeah, Jason, tell us about your team. I mean, you got 67 points. You captain Aguero, like pretty much most people. Most of your players, Patricio, Trippier, Hazard, all got your double points. So how are you feeling?
I'm pretty happy with it all, really. I'm pretty disappointed that Wilson didn't finish off that Fraser pass after he went pretty much one-on-one with a goalkeeper. It could have been a completely higher score. I think it cost me 14 points, that miss. And then obviously Ryan Fraser getting booked in the 93rd minute to lose his bonus points, which was a bit of a disappointment. But all in all, it was a good week, a solid week, 67 points. It's getting close at the top. There's not much separating. 16 points ahead of Ben, who had a good week himself. Yourself had a solid week. Yeah, it's indicative in the way the season's panning out, really. There's a lot of managers that are taking more time and effort into planning, I think, this season. And we're seeing some really strong pushes from the likes of Cy Bellamy, Lee Phillips, who had a great week as well. You got the Gary Mondays starting to push up the table as well. There is a bit of a separation outside the top four. But all in all, it's...
But do you think, though, Jace, that it seems to me personally, that you've got yourself, Ben and me, which, excuse the pun there, Ben, me of Burnley, but Ben and myself, we're kind of like in this little mini league between us. And like I said, there's only 24 points covering us. And because of Connor's, he only got 40 points this week. And the only player that did anything for him was Aguero. And he got that assist from Zaha, but the rest of his team they just started. There's 32 points between them. And then between 4th and 10th, it's only 17 points. Do you just see that the three of us are kind of like in our own little battle, and then you've got the fourth downwards? I mean, Dan, you're in 11th spot. You're only, you're 29 points off fourth. But do you see this, Jason, when there's like a bit of a split forming now?
Yeah, I can see like a little mini league forming at the top, but it's still really early in the season to try and say for sure that people that are further down, 10th place, I mean, it's still catchable. But like I alluded to a minute ago, obviously there's a lot of planning, time and effort going into these teams. We're seeing a template. We can't ignore the fact that the same names are popping up. It's going to be interesting with the weeks coming ahead, though. This is actually, I just wanted to, open it up to you guys as well. For me, this season, for some reason, it seems way more exciting than previous seasons. And And the coming fixtures now is kind of really going to make or break a lot of managers, positions in their respective leagues, especially ours. Because do you have Kane? Do you have Aguero? Do you have Salah? Do you have Hazard? Which 3 big hitters are you going to go for? Because you can only realistically go with 3 without really damaging your other areas of your team. So I've gone with Kane. Which
so there's a bit of a.
I mean, I'm happy to tell you guys, I did Aguero to Kane, and I'm going to put the armband on him as well because I'm confident.
Jay's coming out of order this way.
A lot of it.
So, guys, I'm inviting anyone that's chasing to go ahead and captain Mo Salah. But in all honesty, I don't mind giving that away.
Pretty candid this week.
Yeah, it's pretty candid. I'm a little bit worried about a few areas of my team, but we'll go into that in a little while. But yeah, back to you guys. I mean, it's to answer your question.
You mentioned Kane and Salah here. Well, Dan's sitting next to me. You took a 4-point hit. I mean, you got a genuinely really good score.
Yeah.
So this was Dan's wildcard team. The week later. Got a respectable 72 points, -4, 68 total. You brought in Kane and Richarlison for Salah and Wilson, but you captained Richarlison.
Oh, man, don't remind me.
Well, I am reminding you, Dan. Tell us the thinking. I know the thinking, but...
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I played the wild card last week. Got a reasonable score. But I can, as you said at the start, I can just see that top 4, obviously the top 3 and the top 4 just going further and further away. And I felt like I went back on what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to take more risks. I didn't take enough risks. So I thought this game week, I'm just going to go for it and take a risk. Everton have got a brilliant record at home to Fulham. Yeah. And Richarlison's had started the season really strong. And when I saw that Everton had beaten Fulham 3-0, I was like rubbing my hands with glee. And I watched Match of the Day, did my normal thing. Sigurdsson missed a penalty. I'm like, right, so 3 goals now. Sigurdsson's missed a penalty. Surely Richarlison's going to do something. And it was just a complete disaster. And I just wanted to smash the TV up. But on a more positive note, I mean, looking back at the wild card, bringing Patricio in and Doherty and Maddison, those differentials have paid off over the last 2 game weeks. And the fixtures coming up for those 3 players are good. So I'm happy with that. That was a big thing for me as well. And obviously getting Hazard in the team, I didn't have him in previous and I missed out when he got the hat-trick against Cardiff. So those things have turned the tide a bit, and I'm so scared about Salah. I'm just terrified. I'm just keep remembering that game at home to Watford last season when he got all those goals. I had him at the time, but I know they're playing Man City, but I'm just thinking ahead of the pictures after that, so I'm still got that conundrum in my mind. But overall, pleased with the game week.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, you revealed your transfer that you've actually done. It's obvious that you would have done this transfer anyway. I'm assuming you did it for Kane, for Aguero. Now, I was at Dale Bellamy's house for just about 40 minutes, and we had this wonderful conversation, and he was kind of going into details about the transfers that he's planning ahead. And I said to him, well, as you know from the podcast, I was considering taking an 8-point hit or a 4-point hit. Well, I'm not going to reveal the transfers that I've done, but what I will tell you is that I have actually done my 3 transfers. So I have actually done them for a -4. But the question is for who? I ain't going to reveal it. I don't want to reveal it because, like Dale was guessing, it's a question of, well, it's obvious that I've got Salah or it's obvious I've got Kane, but which of the 2? I ain't saying anything. I have gone for 2 differentials as well. One being a defender, one being a midfielder. So the question is, did I get rid of another midfielder for Salah or did I get rid of a striker for Kane? I'm not willing to reveal that information, and everybody's going to have to find out on Saturday's deadline.
Do you know what? I feel a bit like a referee.
Do you know what? I could always beep out.
Jay's like revealed his cards. And
you know what? I might just beep out everything I said.
I
taking it to, it was always going to get to this stage. So you two are so close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, I mean, Dale was speaking to me about the way me and you are with each other, and we're quite open, but at the end of the day, you're top, and that kind of nicely links me into some of the questions that were sent in via Torbay and one of our regular contributors, Cy Bellamy. He did actually ask this question, which is, do any of us have any rivalries within the league itself, so teams that we look out for all the time? And if I'm honest, it's always, for me personally, it's always Pete Andrews, it's always Dale, it's always Cy, the Bellamy brothers, and it's always who's ever number one, which is you, Jason. And I always look out for these guys' teams, and if they're doing well, then I'm going to kind of be looking at them thinking, well, wherever I am within the league, then I'm kind of basing everything on what they're doing. But at the moment, I'm ahead of Cy, I'm ahead of Dan and Pete, but I'm below you. So the kind of rivalry between us two is kind of like, yeah, I don't want Jason to be doing well, so I'm not willing to really reveal what I'm specifically doing, whether it's on air or off air. But Dan, do you have any like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say last season, obviously, I had a really strong start to the season. I was above you. I'd always look for you, and I'd always look for you, Jay. Obviously, I've got quite a few friends. I'll always look for Mr. Jewel. I always want to finish above. Always want to finish above you, Phil. Normally do. And then just other people as well. But I was going to say Jermaine. That not many people know in the group, Jermaine. But Jermaine, you're doing terrible, mate. You just, I don't know what's going on with your team. Sorry. And then the new entrant to the league this season, Bob, but he's doing low. So yeah, just yourself, Jay, Mr. Jewel, Steve Andrews, people I know. And even towards the end of the season, this is the thing that I say, that even if I'm not going to finish in the top four, I think to myself, right, I'm going to finish above Jay, I'm going to finish above Phil or Steve.
How are you feeling about this year with Jason doing so well, myself doing really? I mean, Jason's in the top 900. Ben is in, I think he's just above the 5,000, and I'm within the 9,000, and you're 11th, you're 300,000. I know we look at the league more prominently than we do overall, but how do you feel now that we're doing so well as a case of that?
No, I think it's good because the standard of the league's gone up. That's how I see it. I don't think I'm having a terrible season, particularly, really, but I feel that the standard of the league is quite high, with you guys up so high at the top of the league and within the whole rankings within the FPL world system, ranking system, if you like. So me personally, I'm just thinking top four, being realistic. You know, there's still a possibility. I always reference Dan Benson. That's another person I'll look for as well in the league. He was near the relegation zone a couple of years ago, back in December. Then he finished in the top four. He's actually in the top three, missed out. I think Jack finished above him. So, yeah, but there's always that's what makes the league interesting, isn't it? The rivalries of our friends, you know, a bit of banter as well. And what about you, Jay? Who do you? Well, you look down now, don't you?
Well, to be honest, I can't stress it enough, really. I mean, I don't take my position for granted at all, and the fact that, you know, I'm one bad game week from being out of potentially down into fourth place and even into the top 10k overall rating. So, I mean, at the moment, I'm just looking forward and trying not to think about ranking too much. I know it sounds cheesy, but you know, you can get yourself caught up in things like that. And I'm a bit realistic. And I was top last season for a little while, and it kind of all fell apart. So yeah, I'm certainly just plodding along, see how it goes. You know, this time next month, it could all be different. So we'll have to wait and see.
You're gone.
Yeah, so I was going to say, because you remember towards the end of October, you were near the top. I think Pete's birthday party, and you were looking at your team and you were getting nervous. I was thinking, I don't know. So things can change really quickly, can't they? So
I don't know. Another question that Cy asked, which kind of links us into kind of this conversation anyway, is he's wondering why this season has been so good for us regarding rankings. And to be honest with you, I think that there's just so much data out there for who to pick initially from the start. And we all know that at the end of the day, fantasy football is all about assists and goals. That's it. Yeah. We don't need to worry about clean sheets. They're just a random factor when it comes into football matches. Let's be honest here. There's no guaranteed clean sheets. But goals and assists, you've got more chance of predicting. And I just think, Jason, that especially for me and you, it's because we started with the three defenders of Mendy, Robertson and Alonso. And you just build it off from there. Because the cheaper players are doing so well this year, Mitrovic, Wilson, King, if you've got him, Pereira, as Jason had, Hollebass is another one. There's so many cheap players. The Wolves assets as well, especially defence. They're doing so well that it's almost as if, like, if you literally picked the right players, you've gone and got on a decent rank from the start, and then it's just a case of what you were saying, which is you just have to build on from the data that we're already receiving, in the sense of, well, take Pereira as an example. His form has dropped off. Well, then you just bring in the next cheap player whose form is carrying on. What do you think, Jason, on players just doing really well this year?
Yeah, Mendy had a blinder at the start of the season. So the fixtures were good. Robertson, Alonso, they start. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see the same amount of points from defenders in the first few game weeks ever again. It projected us. I mean, I think I was in 500 odd place after game week 2 or something like that. It's been a really crazy beginning of the season. I can't really describe it any differently. And I think you're right. I mean, the people that chose those players started them off well. You know, you look at the fixtures and then also look at the form. So there's a lot of data, like you said. People are able to go on Understat or Final Fantasy Scouts. Other websites, you've got statistic websites left, right and centre, which you can use to base a decision off. And I think more people are putting more effort in than ever now in fantasy football. It's become more mainstream than it used to be. Before, it was kind of like a little bit like you were a bit of a geek, a bit of a nerd if you looked up statistics. I think it's more casual players are able to access the basic data and make an informed decision on it. And I think it's, like you said, Dan, it's not only increased the standard of our league, but I think the standard of the average fantasy football manager, especially in the top 1 million or so now, is in for a good chance of having a good, successful season. Yeah,
and I mean, when you say about it going into the mainstream as well, I mean, even BBC Sport have got a fantasy football article each week, which is actually, but to be honest with you, it's crap. So basically, read those articles and do the opposite of what they say, and you'll go right up the league. But I think the game's more popular. That's one thing as well. And also the fact that, I don't know, maybe just the change of formations and players that are, well, obviously people investing heavily in premium defenders. That's paying off with your likes of Alonso, Mendy and Robinson, and it reflects how important fullbacks are in an attacking game nowadays as well. That's a big change in football the last 10, 15 years as well. So, have we got any more questions?
No, I think that was it.
That was it for this week.
As we always say, if you do have any questions for the three of us, please let us know. Send them in via either the Facebook group, which is Torbay Elite. Just
Torbay Elite.
You're on it anyway. If anybody's actually part of the league, you should be within the Facebook group. Or if you want to send them via Instagram, it is at Torbay Elite, and we will look for the questions or all the comments that you send in, and we will happily go through them and see what's worthwhile answering on the podcast.
Okay, so thanks for watching the latest Torbay Elite Fantasy Podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've got any questions for us, let us know as always. Tomorrow we'll be doing a separate podcast where we'll be discussing the upcoming Game Week 8 and all the burning issues for that. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be on our YouTube channel, and we'll link to it on Instagram and the group as well. So enjoy your football, enjoy the sun, and we'll see you next time.